Thank you for giving me the floor. I'd like to start off by saying that it is very late, so I cannot dwell as I should on the important subject of this panel discussion. Now, before I leave, I wish to contribute to the most interesting debate that we have today. In the food and agri industry in Italy, we bear the brunt of the sanctions imposed by the EU institutions and by the embargo raised in response by Russia. The trade flows of food and agricultural produce are being reduced, vastly reduced. I cannot share with you the slides pointing to the collapse of export from Europe to Russia, especially so for certain key areas when it comes to the food and agri industry. I'm thinking about the fruit and vegetables, I'm thinking about the cheese and the dairy industry. I'm thinking about all the pipeline basically that suffers with these main industries. Obviously, European farmers are bearing the brunt on a twofold level because their market is reduced and also because the damages as brought about because of this collapse of the market are partly paid by European contribution, which is taken away from the agricultural funds. So on the one hand, European farmers are losing market, and on the other hand, they also see their incentives being reduced. So you may very well understand that the situation is very complex. I'm certainly not the one who's going to talk about the difficulties and diplomatic situation that has been brought about between European countries and the Ukrainian crisis. But certainly the sanctions on the one hand and the embargo on the other hand are bringing about huge damages for the agro industry in Europe. And there's no light at the end of the tunnel as far as we can see. So this fourth Euro-Asian Forum obviously has to start a new dialogue in this industry. I've been dealing with negotiations with the US as I am the standing rapporteur for the TTP agreement with the US. And in my capacity, obviously, I can say that it would be most important for Europe, and I'm slightly provocative, it would be most important for Europe to start some kind of TTP, TEAP, as I term it, Trans-European Asiatic Partnership, some kind of agreement that would lead us all to meet together so as to tackle the major food industry problem. Because there are trade difficulties, but we also have to remember that the growing trend in the food demand is higher than the growing trend of supply. So we find it very difficult also in managing the volatility of prices deriving from this market instability. So I think that a new dialogue should be triggered. This could be a European reaction to the parallel agreement that was entered into by the US, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So I believe that would be provocative. It could be also a good idea for this forum to trigger this new dialogue so as to have all the partners of Europe start a dialogue with the Euro-Asian partners so as to tackle the difficulties that are certainly bringing about no advantages for no one. And I believe that the recovery that President Bazzoli was referring to should be given new thrust, and dialogue and trade relations cannot but promote that. I apologize because I've got to go. I'm sorry, we are very much behind schedule, so I have to leave you, and I leave you with this provocative